go right into the first game. So it should be good. So Hazza Ottomans, and I didn't see what Sompu is. What civ is he? He's Iroquois. So Iroquois Ottomans.
Yeah.
I don't know who it favours, actually, honestly. I think it's about equal. Obviously, Arkansas, quite a good map for both civs. I mean, both civs like taking that TP line. Maybe slightly better for Iroquois, because Ottoman like having a 4 TP line at least, so he can get Stagecoach down. But, yeah, it should be quite an interesting match. So yeah, in the red colour on the left here, we have Hazza, who's starting with a coin start. No extra wood crate or no extra food crate for Ottomans, so that's a bad start for him, but it's also probably better, seeing as Iroquois can't get that TP down, as they've got that coin style as well. So yeah, what is there to say about this matchup, really? Obviously Iroquois have that strong fortress age, and they have that strong colonial age. The same for Ottoman, really. Both civs quite strong in both ages, so relatively speaking, quite a balanced matchup in that regard. And this map, yeah, as I said, good for both players.
Yeah, I think but that Ottoman has to go for some kind of H3 timing, because once the H3 shipments are over, then Ottoman is kind of really weak, and Iroquois is just good after that.
Yeah, as you said, is Travoy coming forward? Obviously, just going to scout with that. Ottoman going for the age 1 TP as he normally does, and yeah, and Sompu picking up a Tomahawk treasure, which is quite nice. Is the stream fine, Brooke? Can you tell me, please, as well? As I don't know, as I haven't checked myself. But yeah, generally speaking, sort of a normal age 1. I mean, Iroquois normally have a better age 1. There's a bit of a treasure contention here. Yeah, 90
Yes,
food.
90 food.
So 90 food would be good for both players. I mean, Iroquois is probably going to be able to go up with one less
Yeah,
villager.
Hazza got it, I think.
Yeah, Hazza definitely got it, but he might lose his Explorer here if he's not too lucky. This Wolf doing 9 damage and the Tomahawk up the back doing 16 at range. So yeah, he's going to get away though. He's in line with his TC, and he's going to get up relatively quickly with that 90 food. And Iroquois doing sort of the same thing. Obviously going to be up slower because he has to actually train villagers and they cost food. He's going to come across 80 food himself, which with that, yeah, Sompu's going to convert a black bear, and he's just going to take this second black bear up quickly. Sort of with the knowledge that Hazza can't contest because he's lower HP. Yeah, and is there anything you sort of want to add to age 1? I mean, it's probably Sompu favoured.
Would you look at Sompo's deck? I think he has water cards on it, and they're not really required.
Yeah, I mean, Sompu did this in
Yeah.
a game against Kaiser when he was playing India. He had a Caraval and a Frigate in his deck when he was playing on, not Arkansas, he was playing on Ozarks, or the
Yeah.
EP equivalent of Ozarks. So maybe that's a bit of a mistake, but this deck doesn't seem too bad. It's got all the shipments you want.
Yeah.
It's got 9 Tomahawks. In a game the other day, Raphael had 8 Tomahawks, which obviously a worse treasure. But he's going to be picking up 90 coin, and with 100 coin from the start, might be signaling something sort of aged... age 3 play from the... Yeah, especially with his 40 coin, he's going to go up to age 3 really quite easily. Only has to take 70 coin and then ship the... so yeah, he's going to ship the 800 crates, obviously. Or, knowing some people might go for a...
I think Sompo is going to go for H3 as well. You don't have 600 coin though.
Yeah, so the quartermaster is 400 wood, isn't it? The governor is what you'd normally go up with as Ottoman if you're going to go for it. Could you put push to talk on? Because
Sorry?
could you put push to talk on? Because I can hear someone like constructing a building behind you, and it's quite distracting.
Okay, so sorry.
But yeah, I mean, obviously some people might be going for a tree play. I mean, he's chopping wood. He's going to get his house up, and what we see about Travoy, if it's going to come forward or wherever it is, he hasn't aged up yet, so that's sort of what you want to look for. But maybe Hazza playing for a H2 colonial play himself, although Yeah, he's going to get a barracks and base. Or maybe he's just playing somewhat more safe. So he's going to get that second TP down, which you normally do as... yeah. So where's this Trevor going? Oh, it's going to go down sort of mid-map, so closer to Hazza's base. So he's going to more than likely be aggressive in sort of age 2, which Sompu likes doing, actually. Sompu did this versus, I've forgotten whose Japan it was. I think it was Turk's Japan on the last game he played. So he likes going up with Wise Woman instead of that fast age. Obviously, you're not going to get much faster than Ottoman because they don't need to be food for villagers. And he sort of just starts pumping out these powerful colonioid shipments that Ilkar likes to send. 700 wood coming out from Ottoman. And an artillery foundry coming up. So he's going to go for Abbas. More than likely going to see 700 coin as his next shipment. And these 4 Abbas going to come out. This war's thankfully going to go up. But if he sends something like the Kanya, which you normally do, he might be in a bit of a sticky situation here. Especially if he gets... no, Hazza's going to go back, actually. He's not going to get caught. And there's the... Is that 5 Tomahawk big button? Yeah, it is. I believe so. Let me just have a check. Yeah, big button coming out. So he's going to get that trading post down. But Stagecoach already out for Hazza. So he's sort of paying back what he's already paid for it if he's toggled it to wood already. And 700 coin, as I said. And let's see what units in queue. Yeah, Abascan in queue. And is that trading post in queue? Yeah. Oh, Sompu didn't build his trading post. We didn't see this. This is huge. Sompu's sort of like, yeah, as you just highlighted, Sompu not finishing his trading post and in a way ruining any. He needs to bring that back. He's missing so many resources here. Each one of these passes is something like 40, 50 resources. If on wood, it's really quite strong here, and he's missing all that resources. Yes, he's going to get the TP down. But does he even notice that he's losing these resources? I don't actually know. And Hazza behind this, yeah, he's just realising now. Hazza behind this having Abbas guns and Janissaries, which obviously against the Tomahawks and even against the Hyenas, incredibly strong. These Abbas guns just destroy anything he's got on the field at the moment, and you don't see a stable or anything like that coming out at all from a Iroquois player. Are you still here? Okay. So as I was saying, 800 resources coming out. So he might be going up for the next stage here. I mean, he looks like he's macroing towards it. There's nothing in queue in terms of military, and he's going to get that second trading post down. So I think Hazza's sort of playing a dormant age 2 Ottoman against someone who's not really massing in age 3, so he's going to obviously push off that war hut, but that war hut might even buy him enough time with a weak Ottoman economy to get up to age 3 himself. Although he is quite far away in coin, he's still 200 coin away and 200 food away, so this huge mass of Abbas guns from Ottoman, 36 to 10, I don't know what he can do here, because obviously Iroquois' sort of really strong units in Fortress Age, the forest spells, which you can ship and will probably make, aren't going to fare too well against the Abbas guns themselves, because Abbas guns doing siege damage instead of range damage against the forest prowlers. So yeah, this TP line going to go down, and meanwhile, sort of Sompu, with his advantage he got from having that TP line for a bit longer, he's going to lose it, because he's just going to lose all his map. There's Hunt obviously in base, which is nice of him. This gold mine though, Urquhart sort of chomps through gold in the next age because of their skirmishers, and he's even going to be forced to put down a corral with his units here. So he's gonna, when the travel comes out, he's gonna have a war hut up, which obviously takes longer than a corral normally, and he's more likely gonna send 8. I assume he's going to say 8 forest prowlers, and he might get a shot off with a crack shot here against the Janissaries, which would be nice. There you go, a couple of Janissaries damaged. But yeah, this war hut going up so slowly, and with Corral, if we look at units in queue, there's nothing in queue at the moment. Oh, there's musket riders in queue from Corral. But this mass from Hazza even going to age himself now, but this mass is huge. I mean, Everscon's obviously against TC fire don't really fare too well. It's only 2 shot for Abbas because they're quite low HP compared to these Janissaries. and he's obviously pulling back. But all he has to do now is wait for veteran Janissary, maybe Janissary Combat. 8 Forest Palace coming in as well. And as soon as he's aged, he's fine just to go over a sort of Falconet push. And Iroquois sort of pinned in here, especially when the eco, if he gets down this TP, is going to be equal. It would have been worse. But yeah, I don't think SomppuKunkku's in a particularly stellar position here. He is massing Forest Dwellers and Musket Riders. Obviously, Musket Riders are very good against Abyss guns, as Abyss only do 0.75 versus them, so they're not really a counter like a normal skirmisher unit. And he's going to lose that, and SomppuKunkku probably going to take that back. So eco at the moment sort of equal with the TP line, but once that extra TP coming up from SomppuKunkku goes up, he's going to have sort of the same eco. Or even better eco for, yeah, better eco for SomppuKunkku. Yeah, and Hazza going up to the Fortress Age, even with the bigger mass after he's aged, and his eco, as I said, isn't too shabby. I mean, let's look at the upgrades he has on his. SomppuKunkku only having hunting dogs. I think Hazza probably doesn't have a market because you normally don't go for a market with Ottomans. But this Abyss mass, if he just ships, what can he ship here? You can ship Falconets or. Yeah, Falconet's probably a good idea here, or Janissary Combat. And these Janissaries are going to be so powerful. Veteran Janissaries coming in. No units in queue, as I was saying, because maybe once he's he's going to queue an Abyss gun now. He's got 100 gold in bank, and I mean, SomppuKunkku has to do something here because Ottoman with roughly the eco to Iroquois, especially with these 2 Falconets coming out. When the veteran Janissaries come in, these Forest Dwellers aren't going to be particularly scary because of the Falconet pressure behind, and he doesn't really have that many Kanya or Musket Riders. Actually, saying that he does have quite a few. Let's have a look. Yeah, he has 6 Kanya and 7 Musket Riders. And Hazard's just going to push forward without any volition here. But these veteran Janissaries are quite far away, and these Abyss guns obviously not particularly good against cavalry. So if he gets stuck here with a Kanya, it's going to be very bad. But, oh, look at these Abyss guns going down before any shots come off. Kanya coming in trying to snipe the Falconets. They're getting onto a Falconet. This might be quite a good trade for SomppuKunkku here. Even if he just gets ones down, he can just snipe it down. And these, yeah, they're going to get snared by the Kanya. 3 Abyss guns coming in from the back. But these Forest Palace just raining down fire, as well as these Musket Riders against these Janissaries. Even these Tomahawks getting a few shots in from the back. These Abyss guns not really a threat, seeing as there's so few of them. And Hazza has to push back, sort of sending his main shipment here. 18 Janissaries to this mass of, SomppuKunkku has, and I think SomppuKunkku taking definitely a nicer trade here, and on top of that, SomppuKunkku quite far ahead in eco population, even though he's just sent military shipments from that. And 5 Kanya coming in, so he can't really mass any significant amount of Abyss guns. Obviously, there's 3 Abyss guns in queue, but there are only 3 coming out. I mean, that's not particularly too warranting for these Forest Prowlers, and the Forest Prowlers taking out the Abyss guns now, dwindling in size. I mean, he can call Minutemen here, but I don't think that's a particularly good situation to be in. He's sort of pinned into his base. Hunts are running out, even though Ottoman doesn't need as many hunts. There's only this sort of 5 hunts here. This coin mine running out, and the coin mine itself is being pressured by these Forest Prowlers. Kanya sort of sieging houses, but GG coming out from Hazza. Are you still there? Just give me a minute. Right, sorry about that. I'm going to solo cast now. Prince isn't going to. My game just crashed. That's good, isn't it? Oh, hello. So obviously, I believe Hazza picks first. I'll have to check. So it's SKG to pick first. So Somppu picking, and so yes, first game going to Somppu. Maybe it's slightly unexpected. Somppu making some sort of blundering mistakes here. With the TP socket. I mean, he lost about 300 resources from that, which obviously isn't what you want. But on Manchuria here, India locked. India liking this map because of the yaks spawn. I think it's 8 yaks. And Hazza going for France. France obviously a strong pick against India on this map because you get that scout, and normally the scout one of the best sort of units to collect the yaks with. So it should be quite an interesting matchup. Normally France, India sort of 50-50, maybe slightly towards India. We don't really normally see this matchup a lot. We saw, I believe we saw this on one of the Supremacy... we saw it on the Tri-Civ Cup, actually. It was Somppu versus Kaiserklein on Deccan. Maybe it was I don't actually know. I think it might have even been New World Championship. It was one of them. No, it was New World Championship lands. We saw someone versus Hazza, versus Kaiser in this matchup, and I believe Kaiser lost, but obviously Deccan may be slightly better. It is a coin start as well, which is better for France. France can get that early early market up, and it's sort of redundant as a treasure for India. I mean, India not really using it at all until the second age. And as I said, this first age is incredibly important. These yaks paying so much XP to India, and India finding 4 already, so he's off to a flying start here. And Hazza only finding 1. Hazza does have the scout, which is only slightly faster than the 2 explorers that India has. And the explorer, so yeah, it's about equal for speed on the explorers. But Hazza just going to miss this one over here on the right. Let's look at their sort of view here. And Somppu picking up a 5th, so it's 5 yaks to 1 at the moment. And let's have a look at the treasures on this map. There's 90 wood, which is really nice for Somppu. There's not much sound here. Let's turn that up slightly. And let's have some ambient sound as well. There you go. Yeah, so there's 90 wood here, spotted by both players probably. This scout more than likely going to spot it himself. Yeah, just spotting it, you can see the treasure being lit up. 90 wood being nice, and overall Hazza only finding 1 yak, as I was saying, and over on this right side of his explorer not finding anything of use. Let's change the score so Somppu's winning, and he's going to find 40 food, but that's not particularly a stellar treasure. And as I said, Somppu going to come forward here and just take this 90 wood, which is beneficial to him more so than France maybe. And he's even going to he's going to kill the yak. That's probably France is doing. Still though, 5-2. I mean, Hazza might find this one at the back over here, but these 2 yaks are quite important. Whoever finds these 2 yaks and this third one here, if somebody can get 8 yaks, that's a massive. That's probably about a TP there. It's huge. Yeah, Hazza going to find 40 food, but it's not really a useful treasure. Well, it's a useful treasure, obviously. You might be able to age up 13 CDB instead of 14. But it's not nowhere near as good as this this wood treasure that Somppu finds. The 90 wood is basically a villager for India. And with that yak difference here, the shipments, even though India's a slightly slower curve for shipments, 8%, he's going to be in a nice position here, especially if he finds 85 wood. I don't think he has spotted it, actually, but yeah, I mean, at night 85 wood gonna come in huge if he finds it. So age 1 definitely going to Somppu. Hazza having sort of, especially when he finds these 2 yaks here. 2 yaks, so 7 yaks if it converts. 7 yaks to 2. These yaks, each one of these giving India an experience bonus. So even if Hazza did get an equal amount of yaks, India is still probably at a advantage here. He does find 50 wood though, so that'd be quite nice if for him later. And he's going to pick up the 60 food, which again is a nice thing to get here, especially seeing he's about to age and he's going to have a idleless age up because of it. And he's going to go back and get that 50 wood, which is nice. So not an awful age one for Hazza, but Hazza not getting into a position that Somppu has, which is, yeah, Sompu's position is sort of on top of everything. I mean, if he can find that 85 wood, as I was saying, he's going to be in an incredible position. Let's have a look at both of their decks. Sompu's deck is sort of normal. I mean, CM is not what you normally see for India, but I mean, it's nothing to speak of. Hazza's deck is somewhat more Industrial Age heavy with the 6 Queers and the 14 Skirmishers. But other than that, relatively normal decks. 10 Jaegers, maybe a slightly odd shipment for France. Normally you'd see Black Riders maybe instead, but obviously against India you want to have the anti-infantry support. And a frigate, obviously, because it's a water map. I need to do the bets, but I can check when someone bets, so it doesn't actually matter. So don't worry about bets. I can just remove their bets, so who cares? So Sompu's just going to chop wood and, as he's aging up, which is normal. He's going to go for a sort of a mid-map aggro, which is what you normally see. Obviously, India doesn't like going against sort of Fortress Age France, so they like putting the pressure on early. Falconet's been quite difficult for India to handle, even with that. Actually, even then, India doesn't have that shipment, so that might come to bite him at the end of the day. Because what can they do against the Falconets? But, yeah. Obviously, talk of the escape news in the chat, which is unfortunate and something we don't like to see. I mean, escape doing so much for the community, so it's quite sad news, especially in my mind. Especially, I mean, there's a barracks coming down. Back to the game, a barracks coming down from Hazza. You don't really want to go stable against India. India obviously having an incredibly strong unit in the Sepoy, and Zambaraks in the Second Age. So cavalry versus Indian, maybe not the best bet. But let's have a look at units in queue here. Sepoy in queue for India. Obviously, we get the 2 Sepoy from the age up. So if these Sepoy go forward, we might see a strong colonial timing from Sompu. And yeah, I mean, has a sort of massing musketeers here. Musketeers, not too efficient versus Sepoys themselves. 5 Sepoy coming out. Let's see what the next shipment is. I think next shipment probably is a Sepoy shipment. I mean, Gurkha coming in now. 5 Sepoy and a villager coming out. So he's going to go for what is a 12 Sepoy push of these 2 elephants. He does get scouted by Hazza's scout though, so he's just going to push forward here. And Hazza may be in a position where he can defend it quite easily with CDB. CDB quite being relatively good in combat, even if he gets blunderbuss here, but even better. Greatcoat as well in. So but with TC Fire EP Sepoy is obviously worse than RU Sepoys. They go down in 2 shots. There's going to be an extra batch of 5 musketeers coming out, which handle the elephants easily. And Minutemen, I mean, Hazza's going to get a nice trade here. Definitely speaking of the if he can snare even more so the Minutemen, he doesn't want to be fighting them. 4 Sowars coming in, 3 Gurkha on the field as well. These Sowars being somewhat useless against the musketeer and Minutemen mass that Hazza has, and you might lose a villager here, but I don't think he really minds. I mean, eco population, if I were to calculate it here, I'm awfully sorry for not doing that earlier, in favour of Hazza, especially with that TP even more so, although the Yaks might sort of even it out, so I don't know. And Sompu just Z moving. These Sowars having tremendous speed, 7.5. They're locked to the 4 speed of a Sepoy, and Hazza might be getting out the crossbow. He might be getting out the crossbow batch in a second from his shipments here. He does have a shipment sort of idled, so maybe not. Maybe he's just sent it now. I think so indeed, yeah, because that sort of jumped up here. But the Sowars that India sort of relies on to take out light cavalry, light infantry, you don't want to be making, or ranged infantry, in my mistake. You don't really want to be making as stable as India, but Sawars against Hussars running around out so weak. My mistake, 700 wood, so France sort of denying this push, and yeah, France in quite a commanding position because Somppu losing so many units to TC fire. I mean, it's quite an equal trade, really. 14 musketeers and 5 minutemen. Oh, no, that's military units. I'm not looking at right. Units lost is what I want. Yeah, look at the trade here. I mean, Hazza only losing 2 units to quite a mass of India's units. And the 8 crossbowmen ship coming out. He's going to lose that Sour. These Sepoy obviously quite good units, but against the crossbow they don't trade impeccably. And Somppu getting forced back here. Hazza being forced to ship that shipment. And foreign logging coming in, so the eco is about equal. Although Hazza going with that extra 200 wood he's got as well. He's going to go for that extra TP, and he's going to he's spotted the 85 wood earlier, so he's going to have all the TP lines for himself. Somppu can't really contest it, and yeah, Somppu he's getting a consulate up now, but maybe that's slightly too late. Oh, I did. That's my mistake. The time is off. Thank you, book. So game time. There you go. Awfully sorry for that. But yeah, about 9 minutes in, I mean, Hazza's got the larger eco. I mean, France is aging now. I mean, India's nowhere near aging. They're going to have that nice, maybe sort of timing from the Gurkha and the consulate, British consulate, maybe even Ottoman consulate. I don't know what he's going to go for here. But Cannon's going to be quite hard for India to deal with it at all. Yeah, as I was saying, Hazza just going to mass musketeers here. He is pushing well aging now, which I think might be quite a bit of a mistake here. He's going to get the trading post line, as the Gurkhas were on the trading post line, off, and these 2 falconets has Somppu nowhere near aging. He's only got an infantry mass here, which obviously doesn't fare too well against the falconets. I mean, that's what we're going to see shipped. Unless he ships something like 8 skirmishers, you never know. Or even the Jaegers if he can accumulate enough coin. But with how many musketeers are in queue, I think he's just going to get the skirmishers. And all he has to do now is wait for the skirmishers to come out. I mean, he may have lost a TP line, but he doesn't really mind here. And India definitely going to have a hard time dealing with that. I mean, he goes to the Ottoman consulate, so we might have the 4... No, what am I saying? It's 3 Hussars out, which can deal with the... falconets if you can get Hazza off guard, but these veteran musketeers coming in about the same as the Sepoys, slightly even stronger now with 2 extra attack. Falconets, as I was saying, more musketeers coming out from 2 barracks here, and this musketeer mass and falconet mass going to be quite hard for Somppu to deal with. He is aging now, but he's going to lose that aggro fort, and you have to remember that aggro fort sort of converts into XP for Hazza, and yeah, he's not going to be in a incredible position, as I was saying. And Aggro Fort going to go down. These musketeers going to siege so well. He's even going to get the Mongol riders on from the Hazza's explorer attacking. I mean, it's not much siege, but Aggro Fort going to go down quickly. I mean, he's even going for walls here. I mean, they're not particularly good walls. They're better from someone like Breezes who has holes in all of his walls. I mean, actually, I'm saying that there are holes right here, but the falconets don't mind about that. But the falconets bring so much siege. These walls are just going to come out basically being paper. I mean, EP walls are half the HP of normal walls, and he might even lose 2 villagers here. So even though he's ahead in villager population, he's going to get pushed off of this. His front wall's going to go down from the musketeers. He's going to get sort of sideswiped here with the Sepoy, which is what Somppu likes doing. But what is stopping Hazza sort of Z moving into Somppu's base? And yeah, he's going to get housed himself. India not liking sort of getting housed because they need the wood for villagers. And these cuirassiers are going to get pinned into the base, but he doesn't mind. I mean, it's going to be a bit a base trade basically, unless he can get the Yurumis out. And he needs to take down that one. He needs to take down that town centre before the Yurumis come out. think that it's going to stay up. I mean, Sompu can't send a shipment, and it's just going to go down. I mean, unless he gets a castle up, all his villagers over on the sort of over here, collecting from the last hunt, he definitely has. But the ceasefire probably going to come in to save that town centre. If it doesn't, I don't know what he's going to do. The yeah, ceasefire coming in to save the town centre. The shipment on the way, but Hazza just needs to stay there and take down that town centre. He can't, unfortunately, which this mechanic is just ridiculous and broken in my mind. And although saying that, Hazza taking out the vast majority of his Gurkha and the Sepoy, and that ceasefire ending, if you can get that town centre down 100 HP for the Urumi out, it's going to be completely GG. No shipment point. Shipment in queue sort of going back there, and yeah, GG coming out, as I was saying. I'm going to fix the betting and make sure nobody's put anything on it, which I can do, don't worry. And yeah, I'll just be one moment. Right, sorry about that. I had to close the betting. So yeah, I mean, 1-1 in the series now, and Hazza might be sort of got the momentum he needs. I mean, Sompu doesn't have India, he doesn't have Iroquois, which are two of his strongest civilizations. Hazza only using France and Ottomans, which Hazza, out of all players, has quite a large sort of map pool compared to Sompu. Sompu somewhat limited. I mean, this format benefiting Sompu because there's a reset in the middle, and yeah, I mean, Hazza maybe at the advantage here because of the picks he can do. It's Jebel Musa, which is an interesting map to say the least. You don't really want to fish on this map because there's a so yeah, Hazza going first. So Sompu does get to counter pick at least, but so German's coming out. Germany particularly strong on this map. Even for outlaws, I mean, it has the two strongest outlaws in the game, Thuggies and Dacoits, but I don't think Hazza even has a mercenary deck. Let me check. I mean, this is completely arbitrary. I mean, he's not going to do it anyway. I mean, his Germany is called Reuters are lame for some reason, and Sompu going to have to try and pick against that. Does he have one? No, he doesn't have a mercenary deck to speak of, so he's not going to utilise those strong units that, pardon me, that Germany can get from the from the saloon as well as other civs can. But let's see what Sompu goes for here. Maybe he's going to go for a Brit. I don't know. I don't know what Sompu plays. I'll be honest. So Russia coming in. I mean, normally you'd see Russia maybe being slightly weak to Germany, because obviously Germany a hand-cav civilization. But Russia, I don't know, Russia's being the sort of flavour of the month at the moment. It's played quite a lot, obviously on non-TP as being a staple, with India and Russia being one of the main civilizations seen on maps like Alaska, but maybe not so much on a TP map. This map in particular, looking like a phallus, or I like to think it looks like a gingerbread man, because it's nice to look at stuff like that. But a wood start for Germany, obviously. Russia doesn't like the wood start, but Russia likes a food start instead. So Germany got to get that early TP up. And definitely stronger for Hazza, especially when you look at the treasures on this map being slightly less exciting than normal. And yeah, there's a Gurkha, but you're not really going to go for that. I mean, for Germany, I mean, it might be quite good to go for the Gurkha, but maybe not. 90 wood at the top here, and the ore mine map, which is okay. But as I said, an early TP coming up from Germany, and SomppuKunkku not going to be able to get a TP up himself unless he goes for some wacky build I'm not aware of. And Russia just going to sit at that 100 wood sort of being useless. I mean, Russia even prefers the coin start, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe I just want a food start. Russia's food start is quite strong. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say here. I mean, Germany's obviously going to go for the early TP start. It's gonna get 40 coin. He's especially seeing, I think it was a 300 food start as well. So that's literally the best start you can get as Germany. Germany even having a water map, water deck. Obviously no schooners. Germany can't go for schooners. SomppuKunkku on the other hand not gonna have a water deck to speak of. And yeah, pretty standard deck. Maybe sustainable agriculture being an oddity in. Because Russia likes going late game, but I think this will play out in sort of early fortress, is what you normally see with this matchup. Maybe Russia going for a forward blockhouse, but especially with a TP start, I mean, it's quite hard to push Germany. Germany gets so many shipments out of those 3-2 lands, being so powerful. I mean, let's look at their perspectives. Nobody's scouted that 90 wood treasure, or the Gurkha treasure, which is over here, which is the only interesting treasures on the map. I mean, there's 210 coin, but you can't get that in first stage. And 30 XP, obviously a sort of a token treasure. 65 coin, quite easy to take here, because you just walk backwards here, the explorer can shoot. There you go, he's half HP already. He's going to go back again. I mean, there you go, shoot again, go back. 2 settler wagons coming up from Germany, just standard shipment. Earlier than Russia's shipment. Normally you'd see Russia having an earlier shipment, because Russia has an easier curve on in terms of shipments. Germany being 10% at a 10% deficit. But that's what that early TP can do. I mean, Germany is so strong with early TP, but it's quite ridiculous, really. SomppuKunkku getting a 210 coin though. He's getting the smuggler treasure, which is normally not what you'd see in the sort of early age. But how's he going to get this this Gurkha treasure, which is, or maybe he's not. Maybe he's just going to crack shot and walk away. But if SomppuKunkku comes back and finds it, he might be in quite a nice position. Obviously, though, Hazza, knowing that SomppuKunkku just spent his crack shot, not being too bad. On the smuggler treasure himself, but he's going to come across it and he's going to recharge it faster than Hazza. So even if Hazza going to get denied that Gurkha treasure, and that Gurkha treasure against Russia in particular is really strong. He is going to find 90 food for himself, 90 wood for himself even. But yeah, again, as I said, all SomppuKunkku has to do is wait for his crack shot to recharge, and he's going to deny that treasure. Hazza sort of giving SomppuKunkku half the treasure. Here you go, Gurkha treasure for SomppuKunkku, and SomppuKunkku going to sort of deny Hazza the ability to deny SomppuKunkku's early blockhouse. And maybe Hazza having a bit of trouble here, taking that 90 wood. Bruce, could you check something for me, please? Could you check if the bets are closed? Because I didn't actually check if I closed them correctly. And could you write in the chat, please? Thank you. But yeah, Hazza going to pick up 90 wood. He might even lose a settler here. I think he's going to, honestly. He's trying to pull that villager over here. Ooh, it might just get back. If he can get another shot off of the Gurkha, he's going to get into the TC just in time. And, yeah, I mean, SomppuKunkku's Explorer going to run away with that Gurkha. The Gurkha only taking chip damage. But if he can find that that villager, I mean, Hazza being very diligent villager actually. But now there's a 7 HP villager, and Russia obviously going to be the aggressive one in this scenario. He's not going to be a massive position where he's going to be able to dictate where he places that villager, maybe. I don't know. Although saying that, SomppuKunkku going up particularly slowly. Normally you'd see 3 settlers coming forward, only 2. And Hazza going to have 2 shipments as he ages up, which is incredibly strong. I mean, what can you do against a Germany which has such strong shipments in the colonial age? 3 settler wagons being sort of paramount to Germany's success. And a stable coming up, and obviously 2 houses coming up. Germany aging up with 400 wood, and let's see, SomppuKunkku also aging up with 400 wood, sort of normal thing to see. Let's see units in queue for Russia. Russia having 5 musketeers in queue and 5 Cossacks, sort of the classic from Russia here. But units in queue from the stable as well. You see 3 Uhlans. If those Uhlans can pop out, he's going to lose that Gurkha for 3. There you go. There's the Gurkha down. If Hazza can control the settlers here, he's not going to lose a single one. And musketeers from Russia being so weak, if he doesn't have enough to call Minutemen though, which is obviously something you have to look at. But Hazza having that extra shipment in queue, maybe he's going to send 700 wood, and with 9 Ulan coming out here, he's not going to have anything to actually to counter this, especially when musketeers down. Cossacks trade sort of equally with Ulan themselves, but Hazza going to have so many more Ulan, and he's just going to age up easily himself. And even with his 2 musketeers coming in, is that low HP villager? Oh, it's just going to run away there. Let's look at units lost here. And Hazza not even losing a single villager, not even that 7 HP villager. Let's have a look where he is. That 7 HP villager tightly next to the TC, so he's not going to lose it anytime soon. And these Cossacks might go down to Hazza's Ulan. So, yeah, 4 Cossacks coming out though, so he might get a good trade with musketeers and the Cossacks, but in the wrong position. He's fighting already. He's going to lose a Cossack for his troubles here. 2 Cossacks, both on 3 HP. He's going to get away easily, and he's just buying way more time for himself. He's going to take the engagement again, and these musketeers are too far away to really help. And you have to remember, these Ulans, when they're in hand-to-hand combat, so strong. And let's look at trade here. I mean, SomppuKunkku losing a lot more units than he needs to, and Hazza buying so much time, he's just going to age. Has a 700 gold coming out as well, so he's just going to age incredibly easily. And then what does Russia do against the 3 war wagon shipment? He might be able to get a massive musketeers out, but musketeers obviously just get kited to death by the war wagons. So yeah, as I was saying, more musketeers coming out, shipments being heavily military for SomppuKunkku, and obviously having a lesser economy, especially with that trading post sort of factored in. Hazza aging more than likely with the exiled prince. I would be surprised if he wasn't aging with anything else. Let's have a look here. Yeah, exiled prince from Hazza, so he's going to get up in. I think it's 45 seconds on EP or 50 seconds. It's 40 seconds on RE, and yeah, SomppuKunkku doesn't really have the timing here. Riotcoke's coming in for some reason for SomppuKunkku, and yeah, if you look, still traps from Hazza. These, I mean, he might lose a couple of villagers here. Let's look at military units. Only 6 Ulans, so he can't really defend too easily. He might lose the settler wagons, but he doesn't. His settler wagon's so tanky in comparison. I mean, the Ulans can just walk back themselves. There's no more Cossacks. There's not even a single stable on the map here. So I think Hazza can either just send war wagons, as I was saying, or get skirmishers. Let's see. Look at the population here. I think he just sent war wagons to look at some of the population and skirmishers in queue. He's going to trade off his Minutemen, which obviously you never want to do fight against full HP Minutemen. It's just not efficient. And these Ulan can just come back here peaceful themselves. A stable coming up, but maybe too late from SomppuKunkku. As I was saying, the if he sends anything really, I mean, these Ulan's just going to protect the skirmishers if he sends skirmishers, and war wagons just decimate Russia's H2 army. He needs Strelets, and he hasn't got any Strelets in queue. There you go, 5 skirmishes going to come out. These Ulans snaring the Musketeers, and 3 war wagons coming out, as I was saying. And he's going to lose so many Musketeers here. Looks like military units lost here. And yeah, Somppu losing a huge amount of units compared to Hazza, and not even having the military advantage. Obviously, Russia's units are somewhat cheaper, but I just think this was a bad pick, especially on this map, Jabal Musa, where you have the TP line and the 200 would start sort of securing Germany such a strong colonial advantage, really. And 700 coins, so Somppu may be looking to age up himself. Or he might just be massing again. Units in queue, yeah, he's just going to mass again. Another blockhouse, 3rd blockhouse coming down. Obviously, these blockhouses doing a lot of damage versus the German mass here. War wagons counting as cavalry, so they're going to do 1.5x damage versus war wagons. And Cossacks being massed as well. And maybe Hazza's just going to have to try and rely on... Well, he's not going to have to rely on anything, he's at the advantage at the moment. But let's see what Hazza sends as his next shipment. Maybe 8 skirms. I think 8 skirms is going to be something you have to look out for. Oh yeah, as I was saying, 8 skirms come out here. And he's just going to have a push here. Russia's unit's so much weaker. He hasn't got a huge amount of Cossacks. He might lose his TP line. But Russia in a sort of sticky situation. He's just going to push with these... war wagons, 8 war wagons versus Russia, age 2. No Strelets coming out. You might get 13 Strelets out from the shipment. But these Musketeers against, well, this whole unit mass, I mean, Uhlans is the only thing they counter here. Not in a good position, really. And these blockhouses, which are quite costly and take a long time to go up, costing 250 wood each, are going to go down like mincemeat. And even though Somppu dragging his units here, which I think is another mistake, 13 Strelets coming out, Hazza can just run away. He has the more mobile army. These Cossacks are going to try and snare, but they're going to have so much damage from these war wagons being maybe not as efficient as Dragoons, but being incredibly efficient against cavalry themselves. And these skirmishers from the back here, walking back, I mean, the skirmishers themselves, as soon as these Cossacks have been dealt with, but there's nothing to snare, he's getting sort of caught on his own units here, but these Strelets may be normally being quite good units against the war wagons if we can get them to attack them. But there's nothing to snare on the Russia's side, and the Cossacks are sort of late here. And especially if something like 9 Ulan comes out, if 9 Ulan comes out, this is GG. I mean, there's a lot of Musketeers here, but now Somppu massing Strelets himself. He doesn't have Boyars in, so they're not the strongest they could be in the colonial age. And Hazza sort of pushing off that advantage some people might have had just for a few seconds there with the multitude of blockhouses. And he's just going to get kited to death. Another batch of Strelets coming out, but I think just 9 Ulan is going to come out. And yeah, as I said, 9 Ulan. They're not veteran. Veterancy coming in right at the right time. And there's not a huge amount of Musketeers, as I was saying. I mean, Hazza can just Z move at this point. Especially with 9 Ulan. 9 Ulan being such a strong shipment. Being changed in EP, if I recall, from what Zoe said, going down to 8 Ulan. But yeah, just cleaning up. There's only Ulan versus Strelet. I mean, Boyars does come in, but it's just depressing to see. I mean, these units are just going to basically become mush. And some people resigning. Yeah, so let's move into the next game. As I was saying, maybe some people choosing the wrong pick. Hopefully ESO's not down. Some people choosing the wrong pick completely. I don't know why you'd go Russia into Germany. I mean, Russia may be slightly stronger now. There you go. I need to add Somppu actually. What's the next map? So Iowa, not a map you normally see. I'm not entirely sure if you can ships to the middle of the map. I've actually never played on this map in my life. Erika coming out is past the reset. What game is this? Yeah, 4th game, so they can reset, civs have reset. And Erika being a strong civ on this map. Obviously you have the... What a weird map. You have Inca and Lakota. So you have a Lakota Sioux from the Great Plains, and then you have the Inca, which is like from the mountains of Peru. So I don't really understand the natives on this map, maybe, but Iroquois coming out from Sompu. Obviously, a civ he's strong with. I mean, he's beaten Hazza with it in game 1 against Ottomans. So Hazza is going to go into a deep fort here and see what he's going to pick. Yeah, and as I was saying, if you can ship units into the lakes here, maybe Oko are not the best choice. Maybe you can't ship units into the lakes. Someone will have to tell me if we don't ready up soon. But European civs and... Actually, no, Oko have the shipment in Colonial Age. Oh god, somebody's never played Dutch. That's good, isn't it? Let's have a look. No, they don't. He doesn't have it in his deck. So, I don't really understand this. Somebody has 2 decks for Urquhart. One of them's a water deck, and one of them is just a standard team deck because you have that Oneida support, which is a sort of this team card. But Germany being sort of stuck here from Hazza. And I think this matchup sort of depends on the crate style again. I mean, Iroquois maybe being the second strongest to save on TP maps, and Germany being the strongest. And yeah, I think Germany may be a slightly better pick here. Obviously, he's counter-picking, so he gets to choose what he wants. But yeah, so in the top of the map, we have Hazza in red, playing as Germany. If you just let the EP recorded game finish, we can look at the crate starters. So it's a wood start for Germany. I mean, Iroquois likes the wood start normally because you can get that early TP up, but this just means that Germany is going to get the early TP up. I was wrong. There is no way you can ship anything. So... let's fix that. 2-1 to Hazza, the UK's probably best player now. I mean, I would be lying if I said I wasn't rooting for him slightly. But yeah, I mean, SomppuKunkku now going to be chopping wood, normal sort of start for Iroquois on 100 wood. But Germany going to get the TP earlier, and if we just have a look at treasures here, 95 wood. If he finds that treasure up the top there, it'd be quite nice. 40 coin in base, that's normal. And 40 XP down the bottom here, 135 XP, nice treasure. And yeah, he's going to go for that tomahawk, maybe convert one of these and just walk off. My phone is asking me if I want to search what a tomahawk is. No, thank you. And 2 stray dogs, which is obviously quite nice. 90 food, nice for both players. 90 coin in the middle of the map. So quite a lot of nice treasures here. There's no treasures on the right side of the map, so that might be a bit of a bug. I have to check the map actually. The map seems fine. Maybe Hazza has slightly closer hunts, but I don't think that really matters. So yeah, trading post coming down for Hazza, as normally would be. I mean, some people going to delay his trading post even more so because Hazza went to the left side here, which is quite nice. Let's have a look at the map they've scouted. Hazza not finding that 95 wood, but if he's going to continue going up here, he's going to find it. And 95 wood, along with the 100 to 200 wood start, he's going to build it a house, obviously. He's one of the best starts you can get as Germany here. Iroquois going to put down his TP. He's going to put down this travois and turn it into a long hut, more than likely. And yeah, 95 wood found here. If you can get it quickly. I mean, what's especially nice about this is, other than the treasure over to the right here, with the pistoleros and the pirates, there's no other treasures that some people can really take quite easily, which will give him that powerful Renegado, which Iroquois and the other TWC civs like taking. But he does spot the treasure with a line of sight of the trading post, so maybe he'll take a pirate himself. You never know. He's going to try and take 90 coin, which is a nice treasure, but again, Hazza taking that 95 wood, which is a massive boon to his economy early game. I mean, he's converted his wolf, which I sort of disagree with. I think he should have converted a pirate, pirates being an incredibly strong unit. And yeah, I think definitely age 1 going to Hazza. Somppu not having a bad age 1 himself, but Hazza just having sort of a stellar age 1. I mean, 200 wood for Germany is so strong. It's somewhat of a contentious issue, maybe, of it being too strong, but that's not for me to decide. And yeah, I mean, Somppu actually going to probably come out on top for treasures. He's got 90 coin, he's got 40, he's got that Iroquois Tomahawk, which is nice because you have to remember it does that extra damage versus the Uhlans of Germany, and especially with 90 food coming in, he's going to have a idleless 15 age, which is actually quite normal as Iroquois, but extra food quite nice. Let's have a look at Germany's deck. I think that's probably the most bog standard Germany deck you could ever see. Actually, no, it's not, as you have hand infantry attack, which normally you wouldn't see here. Normally you would probably see, well, I don't know, my decks are a bit different. And litanies, or however the fuck you say it, as I'm not German. Cavalry as well, which is a later game card, but I mean, is Colonial Age and Fortress Age are full, so what do you do? It's either that or the Hussars. Maybe the Hussars slightly better. And as I said, Somppu having only 2 decks, maybe coming at a bit of a deficit to him. He doesn't have the unit shipments maybe you'd want in the Fortress Age as Iroquois. I mean, normally, I don't know what you'd have here, actually, instead. Maybe the town set. I don't actually know. I don't play much Iroquois, I have to be honest. But yeah, normally you don't want the water shipments on this map sort of being useless. You can fish in the lakes, but there's no spawn point. But yeah, I mean, let's just see what they play on the next age. Hazard getting placer mines early on. Somppu not getting a village up. He's going to go up with the Wise Woman, which is roughly Iroquois' version of the Quartermaster for Germany. So Germany playing very standard, as you'd really expect. Germany being on this standard, beating Iroquois sort of standard. Chevrolet comes out, but we have to go again. We have to see what happens with this. I mean, Somppu in the first game we saw likes to play sort of colonial play and then transition into the next age. So we probably see a Travoy coming over here. But if Hazza sees his Travoy, which he's going to with his Explorer, he can snare quite easily. Although Somppu quite skillfully going off to the left here, which is quite nice. And he's not going to get snared, which is what he wants. What I really want to see here, I mean, you can build a dock. Again, you can't ship shipments, but I'd really like to see a dock being built here and sort of a caravel or a frigate just coming in. And then it just denies this middle map hunt, which after you run out of hunts on the left here, and this is your third hunt really, isn't it? So if you run out of your second hunt here, you can't really hunt on the sides here if you have 2 frigates in the docks. Especially for Iroquois. Iroquois has quite a hard time countering any boats because they don't have the necessary siege in the third age. I mean, they have the incredibly strong light cannons in the fourth age, but realistically, if there's a frigate in that pond, I mean, what can Iroquois do? He might even lose his war hut for his own safety here. I think he might not. He might go up. He has got the scouting party in queue, so if it does go up, I think it's going down, honestly. It's going to be very close. Just up with 81 HP, but it's going to go down. But, yeah. And that scouting party going back into base, which is sort of useless. He might pick up these 2 Uhlans, but that's huge. That's 250 resources, and it denies the colonial play. I mean, Somppu going to age anyway if you look at the resources, but that's huge. Yeah, so Somppu, he's not going to lose the trading post. I mean, the Tomahawks here, he's got 10 Tomahawks. Did he send Tomahawks? Actually, no. No, he sent 5 villagers. Let's look at units in queue. Has he got one in base? Oh, I don't want to do that, but who cares? Yeah, Germany going to lose a new land, but that's pretty normal. Let's look at units lost. Iroquois losing a villager, which against Germany is not too bad. I mean, you normally do. His trading post might go down now. I mean, he has quite a few Tomahawks, and he has the 2 Tomahawks from the treasure. But he's going to get quite a lot of damage on that trading post. And obviously Sompu doesn't actually want to repair it. Well, maybe he does want to repair this, but he needs the wood for housing, and he needs a forward war hut, which he can't actually build at the moment. So yeah, I mean, Hazza's got quite a lot of units here. I mean, let's look at military units for Hazza. Hazza having 13 Ulan. I mean, Ulan are quite weak, obviously, against the Tomahawks here. But maybe Hazza can just push in here and take the trading post. Trading post, losing that trading post quite big, realistically, in this regard. And Hazza, he just misses a villager. That's unlucky, walking through villagers himself. But Hazza going up with the fast age up, obviously 45 seconds, as I was saying earlier. If Hazza finds this Trevor, it's massive. This is huge. It's game ending if he loses that. And he's going to get spotted. He's going to put it down instantly, more than likely. He's scared of these Tomahawks, but he's going to bung up all of Sompu's units. I mean, Sompu's going to obviously send musket riders as his first shipment, but Hazza sort of parading over the map, stopping Sompu from getting that hunt. And this second hunt quite far out from that Ulan pressure, so he might lose his villager up the top here. Germany quite far ahead in the eco, and Sompu not repairing that TC, as I was saying. He doesn't want to spare the wood. He might even lose that, no, not TC, TP, sorry. He might lose that TP if he's not lucky. Kanya coming out, 6 Kanya coming out. What's he going up? War hunt, obviously. And, oh, we might get caught here. Might lose a couple of Ulans, which won't be nice. But again, even with that Kanya shipment, which is a really strong shipment, that's basically 12 military unit population, has still ahead in military pop and head an eco. And, yeah, I mean, Sompu doesn't have a stable. Normally you'd see the corral coming up by now from that second Travoy, but he doesn't. And pardon me, I'm awfully sorry about that. But he's just going to push in here, but they 8 skirmishers if he can get the Ulan back. And he's just going to get Minutemen out, and he's going to be in a completely fine position. Yeah, Minutemen in queue now. I mean, he's going to have a bad trade, maybe from the villagers' point of view. But yeah, he can't push us, and Hazard just going to be in such a nice position with these skirmishers behind. He's lost so many Tomahawks. Let's look at the military units lost. Yeah, I mean, 5 Tomahawks for what is effectively, I mean, these 10 Ulan probably trading off quite nicely, but he's just going to get pressured here. And if he loses that man, or what am I saying, that explorer, he's going to not be in good stead. And his canyon is going to go down. He's going to get pressured off that forward war hut. These renegados at the back, and these oh my god, Sompu is just annoyed. But yeah, these pirates at the back doing heavy damage to that Tomahawk, and now attacking the war hut, and GG coming out straight away. Not a good game from Sompu. Well, my mistake. But Hazza now, if this was a best of 5, Hazza would have won here. But obviously it's to play all 5, so there's still 1 game to go. And so Grand Chaco, which is probably better for Sompu. So we might still still see a 3-2 coming out, as I was saying. And Age of Killer may be slightly annoyed now because of all his bets were on Sompu winning, and obviously Sompu's lost in terms of betting. So, unlucky Bruise. But let's go into the next game. So yeah, Grand Chaco, an incredibly good map for India. I forget, no, he hasn't got India, so he does still have India to pick. Yeah, Hazza picking first, so he gets the opportunity of having a counter pick as well at the same time. So maybe Sompu might be able to claw it back and only get effectively 1 point for 1 point for CMC instead of having sort of wiping of 3 points, because obviously 4-1 versus 3-2 is quite a substantial difference. But CMC, first game, yeah, this is the first game of this week. It's been quite far ahead. Russia coming out, so obviously I think probably some people are going to go for India. He can't go for Russia himself. What else counters Russia on this map? Maybe Dutch, but I don't think he plays Dutch. I mean, again, Dutch doesn't really counter it. And the only civ you can go in this matchup is India, and as we've seen from countless India-Russia matchups because of the map pools, Russia coming out ahead in vast majority of the games. So maybe Russia is best pick Hazza could have gotten here. I mean, some people can't go Russia himself, as I said, as he used it as his first civ reset. So he's going to have to go India here, or something wacky. I don't know. Some people might be sort of a wackier player. He might go something like Sue. I don't know. Or Aztec. Aztec can play this matchup, I guess. But later today, this isn't our only match today. We have Botter or B Winner or B Fisher, or whatever you want to call it, versus Sir Callan. Quite interesting. Both players maybe equally skilled. I know Callan's been playing quite a lot recently, and yeah, so it should be quite interesting. That is the same teams actually, SKG versus CMC, if I recall. So and that's at 7:30 my time, so in about an hour. Hopefully this match finishes somewhat earlier, so I can have something to eat, as I'm casting that again with Lacastette, or I'm sorry if I butchered your name. So that should be a good game. So many more games to come. Tomorrow there's a game, I think it's Breeze versus... let me just check 1 second. Yeah, the next game being tomorrow, Breeze versus Migo. So that's another game to watch out. And again, the weekend packed full of games. Optimus versus Soldier. No, is it Soldier? No, it is Soldier, isn't it? Optimus versus Soldier. Nushiba versus Conqueror, Iron Tote versus Mito. Huge games on the weekend, so stick around for that. I mean, let's see what he picked. My game has crashed. There you go. So India coming out from Sompu's sort of to be expected. I mean, what else can he play on this map? Maybe Aztec, that's the only one he can sort of go for. And he's going to hopefully get a better start. I hope he gets a wood start. I mean, it's more interesting when you see a matchup go to, or even a food start. A food start would be quite nice. I mean, it's equal for both players. It's nicer when you see a matchup which is somewhat more equal, but then the players, I don't know. Matchups aren't equal if you have a bad start like Russia and Germany. I mean, I think Russia versus Germany is just a German favoured matchup on TP anyway, and it is a food start, so it's nice for Hazza, but it's also nice for Sompu. I mean, Sompu wanted the wood start more than likely. Coin start being worse. I mean, I think Hazza maybe being joyous about these starts. Let me just check the hunts. I think, I mean, the hunts, I mean, they both have 2 hunts. Sompu's hunt's incredibly close to him. Is Sompu missing a second mine? No, they're about equal, actually. I think this is about fair. It's about fair. I mean, maybe slightly sided to Sompu because of how the hunts have spawned, but I don't think that really matters. But 70 wood coming straight out from Hazza, which is huge. I mean, what an unfair treasure to get in base. I mean, what does Sompu get in base? He gets 30 wood, which is nice for India, obviously. 40 XP, which is nice. Llamas didn't spawn. No, they did. I don't know, some people getting slightly annoyed with llamas maybe. but he's gonna get a lot of them himself. 4 plus 2, that's 6. No. Sorry about that. But yeah, Somppu definitely gonna get better llamas. He just misses that himself. Maybe Hazza gonna get the next one here. I don't know, but llamas on non-TP is incredibly nice for Somppu. I mean, he doesn't need to get a TP up. Obviously, he can't get a TP up, and the 2P settlements on these maps sort of being useless. What does 2P's? I mean, they have an archer tech, but neither civ uses archers, so Buttercup Pet Cougar is completely useless. So these TP sockets just being a nuisance. But he does find 120 coin for 2 Jaguars, which is like an amazing treasure. Maybe not what he wanted, maybe would have been better. But Somppu definitely having a nice age 1 here. 7 llamas, and only 1 llama going to Hazza. And obviously about 70 wood and base was quite nice. But Hazza not really finding anything else. No other treasures being picked up. 120 coin now being picked up now. And yeah, so among that, sort of the only nice treasures. 100 XP, a really nice treasure actually over here. But have either of them scouted it? One of them has scouted it. I believe both of them maybe have. But 100 XP being sort of a third of a shipment, especially for Russia when it doesn't have this nice boon from the llamas. And those llamas sort of showing how fast shipments come in. Obviously, Somppu's shipment's 8% slower because he's India. And Russia's normal speed, so that's 330 for the first shipment, 300 and it's going to be what, 370 or something like that for India for the first shipment. And there's llamas showing, they're sort of coming in at the same time for both the same distributivism, which, if I recall, if I just check this, is 2.5 villagers. And India's shipment obviously better, extra villager coming with that. And he's also going to find 100 XP, so he's definitely going to be above on the shipment curve to begin with. But India now aging, but where is India aging? India is, I don't know where India is aging. India is aging in base. He's going to go up with maybe even 4 on the wonder. I don't know where these villagers are going. Are they going to go on the wonder, or is it he's only going to get 2? Yeah, only 2 on the wonder. No, 3 on the wonder, there you go. And Hazza going to get basically still with 30 wood treasure and base. But that Explorer quite low on HP. You can't really take anything else. Some people got to find 30 coin. To find 100 food, which is nice. Both players would have liked that treasure, but some people have yet on finding it. So let's go on the same one again. So a market coming down. So maybe some people playing going for the eco-heavy play. I don't know. Hazza obviously aging up now on a forward blockhouse with only 2 settlers on there, but he doesn't really mind. 120 coin there, so he's going to wait for a crack shot. He's going to crack shot that. There you go. I mean, he's going to use the Explorer to do some damage on the Jaguars. Maybe a bit of a mistake though. He's going to take some damage from all of the units, but maybe he doesn't mind. I don't think he'll go down. That Outlaw are going to go and doing 5 damage. Let's look at the SQ. Let's look at shipment sent. So more than likely, yeah, from the population, Hazza's just sent 13 shuttles and has got 5 musketeers in queue. Meanwhile, Somppu going to go for a small wall here, which I like. And he's going to go for what's he going to go for first? Sepoy first, which might actually not be the best idea. I mean, he's going to pick up 100 coin, 100 food here, and Hazza going to equally get 120 coin. But with the Strelets come out in just a second, Hazza going to get a second blockhouse down as well, I believe. Or no, he's just going to go for wood for houses and base. Hazza's now going to get hunting dogs down. Oh, it's 5 Cossacks instead. My mistake. I didn't read the eco population correctly. So there's 5 Sepoy, or 3 Sepoy, or 5 Sepoy even, coming out. Going to be quite nice. Obviously, Sepoy against his musketeers trade incredibly well. And the Cossacks don't really want to get into combat at all versus the Sepoys because of how strong they are. Doing 45 damage each swing. And that's double the speed of a normal attack. So in the same time it takes for the Sepoy to do 25 damage at range, it does 90 damage versus cavalry up close. So yeah, in a way, Somppu being forced to ship about 5 sepoys, which might not be as good as he wanted, but he's going to be fine. He's not going to get raided if he's diligent. He is backherding here, which is a mistake, obviously. He might lose a villager, but these sepoys, as I said, so strong. I think he's going to lose a villager, actually. But if he can get a couple of Cossacks out for this, I think he might just get 2. Cause of 700 wood coming from Hazza, sort of normal thing you'd see. He's going to end up massing Strelets. And these elephants, remember, don't snare, but again, he's going to probably lose a couple more of these Cossacks, which won't be in a good position, actually. And the wood trickle coming in as well for Somppu. So Somppu not slacking on the eco at all. And Hazza going to go with the second blockhouse. But again, Hazza with the settlers getting still traps down. And on the flip side, Somppu's village is only having the second upgrade. Actually, no, he's not. He's in about the same position, because once he gets Imperial Bureaucracy out, he'll be in an even nicer position. Consulate as well coming down. So, but what I'd really like to see here is Gurkhas coming out from that Agra fort. Obviously, Gurkha being strong against these Strelets, and Sepoy themselves obviously being strong units, but Strelets countering them and being so efficient. I mean, each one only being, well, that's wrong. It's 37.5 food and 7.5 wood, if I recall. Maybe it's slightly more than that for each Strelet. So these are incredibly efficient units, and has Somppu not having any Gurkha to speak of. So this Agra fort obviously doing quite well against the Strelets. He's going to lose his house here. A house having less HP than a normal wall piece, but he doesn't mind because he's going to be housed. He's going to be housed, but he can get out anyway, and he has the Gurkhas in queue. And what we want to see here is we want to see something like or even Tiger Claws here. Tiger Claws would be incredibly nice. I mean, there's not much anti-cavalry here. There's only 5 sepoy, and these sepoy, not sepoy, musketeers, and these musketeers are just going to get the they're going to get taken out by the TC fire, and the Gurkha are going to pop in just a second. If he's got Gurkha, and he's going to have the Ottoman hussars in queue just in a second. If he can get the military population, sentries coming out. And the Ottoman Minutemen coming out as well, so he can get those, either the Ottoman settlers if he wants to, if he feels like he's repelled the action from Hazza for the push. And if he can get Sawars out at the same time, he's going to be in an incredibly nice position. He is housed at the moment, but I think that's probably because he's just sent something. Yeah, 62 population, he's got nothing in queue. Obviously, Hazza now going to be sort of jovial and pushing with these Strelets. But Strelets against the Agra fort, even though the Agra fort is pretty pitiful in its damage, we don't want to be standing there. Quite a lot more musketeers coming out. Somppu going for more of an eco approach here with the Ottoman settlers coming out. Let's look at text being text completed. Ottoman settlers not there actually. I thought he went for Ottoman settlers. Maybe he has them in queue. Oh, no, there they are. Ottoman settlers, there you go. So, that eco-population advantage being in favour of Somppu. And what one thing to remember here is llamas. He has, how many does he have here? He has 7 llamas compared to none, obviously. And Somppu going to age up out of this. And Hazza himself going to age up. But he has, obviously, a military advantage. But Somppu having quite decisively the economic advantage. Yeah, and now Hazza just losing more and more of these Cossacks. He needs to push in with these Strelets, but I mean, he has quite a lot of let's look at military units here. Hazza now, Somppu just making actually nothing, but Hazza also making nothing. I mean, this wall sort of paying. It's paying his weight in gold, really. It stopped him getting in, not losing a single villager. That's units lost. Oh, losing a single villager over here. But look, 13 Strelets lost. That's basically the shipment down. 2 Cossacks lost, and 4 Musketeers lost for what? Just a Minutemen pop, and a villager for himself and a house. So I think Somppu playing the early game definitely in an advantage. Obviously, Russia's slightly down on score, but not by much, because of Russia's units not accounting for their full value. And yeah, I don't think he's in an awful position here. What is he aging up with? Let's look at text being researched here. And he is aging up with the Taj Mahal. So that's the ceasefire wonder, and he can't get in here at all. He's going to wait for Urumi, and Urumi versus basically anything he has here. Incredibly nice. There's not even a stable up. Where is the stable from Hazza? None to speak of. Does Sompu have... Mahout's here would be... Actually, Mahout's against that Strelic Mass would be quite nice. But Musketeers being teched into Veteran Musketeers. And let's look at units in Q in comparison. Sepoy in Q. He doesn't have a barracks down, so he can't actually get those into the Veteran Sepoy. I'm saying that he gets a barracks right down when I say it. And Pure Bureaucracy, and I think that's the second upgrade for him in ditching, or the first upgrade even. And the coin going to come in incredibly nice. And I mean, Sompu's sending obviously a shipment now. Maybe he just sent the Urumi Swordsman. I didn't see his population, if I must be honest. But obviously 6 Towers or Mahout Lancers here against his composition is quite nice. I mean, he doesn't have any cannons. That's what he needs for Urumi. I mean, if he can get on those Musketeers only being Colonial Age Musketeers in effect now. So Hazza obviously having the cannons in deck, and Cav Ouch is also being sort of useless against India at this point because Urumi coming out and misses his push. I mean, these Minutemen, even if they don't get focused from the from anything here, he's going to have quite a nice just backbone of damage coming up from his Minutemen. 26 damage is nothing to snuff at, and they might go down quickly, but it's still damage, even if the military unit population is a bit out of whack because of it. But disciplined Sepoy as well. He's just going to push forward, and then he's going to have quite a nice timing, especially when Hazza pushes forward with these Falconets. He can just ceasefire. Maybe he's waiting for a Mahouts from his wonder. He doesn't really care about the Agrafort now. All the Agrafort is doing now is being a blockade of blockade. But there's not much Cossacks here, and if he can get these Falconets down, he's going to be in an incredibly nice position. What does Sompu have in queue? Sompu having another town centre off to the left here, so he just needs to defend, and he'll be a head-on eco. The vast majority of the game. Russian town centres being 1.5 of the normal town centre, though, is something to regard. But if Sompu can get down these Falconets, he's going to be in a stellar position. Only 2 Cossacks. Finally a stable coming down, but it might be too late. The big fight's just going to be in a second. Sompu needs to not just group all his units together. They're going so much slower. These Urumi being 4.5 speed instead of a normal speed. He's going to get a big shot off. Ceasefire coming in just before the shots come through. But there's no presence on the map from Sompu, from Hazza in terms of Cossacks, which is what he really needs here. And these Falconets are just going to go down in 2 killing blows. Watch, ready, 3, 2, 1. These Falconets going to go down. Although he does defend them quite nicely. I don't know what's even going to happen here. I don't know how to commentate on this. But these Urumi in the fight, let's look at military units. That's what's important here. 6 Urumi still alive. You can get those Falconets, 2 Falconets going down. These Urumi on the Musketeers mass. And these Sepoy doing nice damage. Boyar's coming in. Maybe slightly too late for Hazza. Although Hazza going to clean it up and he can't fight with these Sepoy. I think Hazza might have won this. Although a second TC coming down. Sorry, I'm going to have to take a breather there. It sort of winded me slightly. But Hazza now going to mass in some Cossacks. And these Strelics being ever so strong. When he gets Strelic combat in, they're going to be incredibly strong. 13 damage will be on those Strelics. And that just... India doesn't really have much they can do versus this. Maybe he needed to wait for something like the Mahout pop instead of just going all in then. He's going to pick up a nice amount of the Musketeers here. But obviously India can remass quite nicely, especially when he's got another town centre down. So he's going to have quite the eco boom here. I dislike this town centre placement. Maybe he wanted to put the town centre over here somewhere. I don't know why I'm flaring that. But anyway, yeah, I mean, Hazza obviously sending those 2 Falconets, which is nice against India. Indian dealing with the 2 Falconets. But the Oprishniks here, instead of Cossacks coming out, so again, Strelic counter-infantry rifling coming out as well. And Russia just having the late game here. This is where Russia just tends to scale better than India. And a veteran Oprishniks, as I said, going to just rain terror down on any villagers. This wall going to be paper because of how much siege his units have. And if Hazza can find these 2 town centres, which I assume he knows are here, he's going to be in an incredibly nice position. I mean, even at this point, he can probably just push in. He shouldn't really care, especially with your Pruchniks taking down town centres as fast as they do with the 86 siege. Sompu just going to be running around the map like he normally does, picking up villagers with these Sepoy, but obviously it's slower. And yeah, I mean, I don't know why he's not just Z moving into his base, I'll be honest. He is going to see the second town centre, which I think, as I said, is going to be a massive disappointment for Somppu. Somppu may be trying to keep that a secret, although the Mahout Lancers coming out, maybe not the opportune moment. The seaport is so far away. These are Preachniks sort of roaming the map, going to find any villages he has, and Hazza being very diligent with his villagers himself, running around, not getting caught by anything. And how many villagers are in there? At least 9 villages. I think there's 16 villages in that town centre. Let's have a look at units in queue here. Nothing in queue for Somppu, nothing in the slightest. 1,000 food for wood being stacked. And he's going to try and take down the town centre of his own. But obviously this mass, especially with the Optreetniks, which are so strong, Opus are going to get on those villagers. And these 2 town centres are going to go down. There you go, bye-bye town centre, only 500 HP down on it. And these Optreetniks might get a couple of kills themselves. He's going to get the second down. And that's a lot of wood invested. Meanwhile, the military mass, although with the Mahouts here, he doesn't really have anything which can get down there fast enough, so he might pick off quite a few villages of himself. And unlike Somppu, I mean, Hazza hasn't been able to take him out, but 20 veteran zealots and these incredibly powerful units, especially with counter infantry rifling, each shot doing 39 damage versus the Sepoy here. But yeah, Hazza gonna get a lot of Somppu gonna get a lot of villagers here, and even if he loses these units, he might not be in too much trouble here. Cav archers are on the field though, and these Mahouts, you have to remember, have such awful pathing compared to normal units. They just get stuck on shit, and it's incredibly annoying to micro them. But if he can get quite a nice trade against these, yeah, if he's going to get a nice trade, I don't think he is soon. One Mahout Lancer being full HP though. They are in the trees, so that's bad for Mahouts. And Hazza, Somppu himself, going to lose quite a lot of villagers. But look at the eco difference, 54 villagers to Hazza. To Somppu, and another TC going down. Somppu likes doing this, likes to run around the map, being annoying and sort of play the long game out, but Russia having the better long game, and Somppu obviously not sending any unit shipments. And this is sort of a last hunt that Somppu or Hazza wants to go on here, but he doesn't have anything here. So he's in a bit of a sticky situation, as I was saying. The sentries are going to come out and snare. If he can get some of the sepoys back, or get the Sawars. The Sawar pot, that's huge! He's going to lose so many villagers. The Cav, he hasn't got any Cav archers. He's only got, let's look at military units. He's only got Shrelets and Musketeers, and there's nowhere they can go. And the closest thing they can go to is this this blockhouse, but they're so far away. Cavalry combating, not particularly helping against this Sour mass. And these Sours are going to get straight on these Strelets. Strelets not representing a huge amount of siege, so he's fine just to sit back here with his own town centre, and he's just going to get a canvassary up and probably going to get quite a lot of Mahats out. Let's look at units lost. Look at the difference in eco population. 25 settlers lost for Hazza, and he's only just getting his second TP up. But where is his Explorer? His Explorer is so far away. I mean, if that Explorer dies, that's huge. And another thing to remember is that ceasefire may be charged by now, actually. So these villagers will be able to escape quite easily if he just uses the ceasefire and walks off. I mean, there's nothing he can do in that situation. And he met a third town centre coming down. Somppu just loves spamming these town centres. And if the game continues like this, Hazza is just going to win at the end of the day. There's nothing Somppu can do. I mean, he's going to lose all his villagers here. Hopefully, for Somppu's sake, he's going to have that ceasefire ability charged. Is he going to get it charged? He doesn't have it charged, so he's going to lose quite a lot of villagers. But he's still going to be down in villagers himself. And these town centres just buying him so much time. Ah, this guy might even go down. Hazarov might go down. I mean, let's look at... Yeah, he's going to go down, and Hazard not going to be able to make any more villagers. And it's not like his unit mass... I mean, it's larger, obviously, but he's just wasting so much time for Somppu to remass. And Somppu has... I mean, Somppu could probably macro to age now. And what does Hazard do versus that really powerful Mansabar Urumi regiment shipment? And even now he's sending Cossacks there. but his explorer's down. He's going to have to wait for that to go back up right at the wrong moment. And these Cossacks going to trade badly with the Seapoy here. And quite a lot of gardeners. I think this is the this is 2 shipments of gardeners, maybe even more. That's intervention even. Intervention and a shipment of gardeners from the consulate. But there's only a couple of veteran cavalry archers. Cavalry archers being somewhat worse than normal units here. And these what are they called? Strelets, not faring too well against the Cossacks. And these villagers all being idled. This is what Somppu wants. Somppu just wants to run all these units around. Although Hazza being somewhat fickle here and going into Somppu's base. But again, look at the eco difference. 22 villagers to 56. And Hazza can't get that town centre up. He's only just going to get it up. He's going to lose his Seapoy though. And I thought it was a town centre, my mistake. But another town centre going up. And a blockhouse going to come out from Hazza. But Somppu's just going to call the sentries off and try and get this blockhouse down. If he's got a shipment in queue, especially, if he get 9, as he sent 9, he sent it already. But if he can get 8 Gurkha out here, he can just deny these 2 blockhouses. Yeah, these sentries going to come in, and the sentries from the other town centre. Going to just be a massive annoyance. He can't get those blockhouses up. The only hunts, whoever hunts, there's hunts up here, but they're quite far away, and these are sort of Hazza's hunts. And although I'm missing a massive raid, I'm missing him just circling sieging the TC. Yeah, look, I mean, Hazza's not collecting anything. This is the problem for Hazza. I mean, these sentries are just annoying. They're not particularly useful units. Somppu is obviously ahead in eco, but he's just going to get pressured here, and he's got... even then, he's not even losing that much idle time because of where his villagers are on the map. These 2 blockhouses obviously giving line of sight for Hazza, but he's not getting anything. Look how cheeky this is on the left, having all these villagers chop wood. 8 Gurkhas coming out as well, so he might even be able to keep this TC up. He's going to get nice trades off on the units at least. And Hazza's just got these useless units wandering around. And if this goes on, especially getting nice trades of these irregulars on these cavalry archers, he needs to split the units. He's doing so actually. It's fine. Someone honking outside. I'm awfully sorry for that. Howders. What does Russia do against Howders? Russia doesn't have any units which have more range. This is basically like the war wagons of India. No, you didn't. It's my chair. My chair makes quite a lot of noise. So I'm sorry for that. But, yeah, these Charlottes are just going to get harassed by the Howders. And again, look at the eco difference. This is a 23-minute game at the moment, and it looks like it's about a 10-minute game by the ecos of Russia. Yeah, and honestly, what can he do against these Howders? These Howders outrange anything Russia has. Musketeers obviously terrible against Howders, and I don't know what he can do here. I mean, neither are actually producing any units. Mahout in queue, that's big. If we can get a batch of a couple of Mahouts out, he's going to be in a nice position. Obviously, these Howders not particularly very useful. Another TC going up. So this is the this is the 3rd TC. And he's just going to deny everything. These villagers go in with TC, please. Get some fire off. I mean, you have to remember TCs do double damage. There you go. He's just going to... oh, maybe not. Yeah, and Hazza shooting these Howders, obviously expensive units. He's just getting pushed off every single hunt he can't collect. And now this is the point where a military unit is about... the population is about the same. I mean, Hazza's got quite a lot. He's probably going to go for Manchu, actually. From looking at what he's got stacked. When he gets a shipment, you'll see that dip. 1,000 coin, obviously. Or maybe he's going to go for a number of falconets. But obviously, as I was saying, he doesn't really have the eco here. He can't collect. These Howders being huge. If you can get these Sepoy off the Howders are going to get straight on the Strelets. Look at the other units that he has. He doesn't really have any other units. He only has 5 cavalry archers just popping now. But these Howders on the Strelets are going to do so much damage. I think at the moment this is just GG. He doesn't care that the cavalry archers are doing a lot of damage. And then these cavalry archers themselves are just going to get decimated. No, you're not about the Howder. Howder having an incredible amount of PC. But, PC, or am I saying HP? I mean, he's going to fight off this fight. Somehow come out top on military unit population. But eco population, again, is so in favour of Somppu that I don't think he can do anything here. Hazza can only collect on this mine, which has limited resources anyway. He can't collect on any of these hunts on the right here. These two Strelet and veteran musketeer combo being quite annoying. But he's going to lose his gardeners as well, which obviously isn't good. Maybe a getaway, actually. He might get away. But again, he doesn't care if he's losing that amount of villagers, because he's not trading. He's not trading in a position where he can trade for a huge amount of villagers, and these Strelets being completely useless at siege. They're going to take so long to get that town centre down, but maybe Somppu can just have a massive shipment out of this. He's got Mahouts in queue and Gurkhas in queue. That's not in queue, that's in military units. But he has Sepoys and Mahouts in queue. And this one Mahout going to do so much damage to that massive Strelets. Hazza putting his units, nicely splitting his units. That's some high level micro right there, ladies and gentlemen. But obviously, he's still going to lose quite a few of them. And this Howler doing so much damage to all of them. And the TC fire itself doing quite a lot of damage. And again, a barracks coming down here on the right. Hazza sort of gripping his nails onto this game, even though he's at quite a disadvantage at this point, and somehow still staying ahead in a military unit population. Sort of showing testament to how efficient these units are from Hazza. And Manchu coming out. So Sepoy and Mahouts, which is what he has in queue, only one Mahout coming out. Obviously not the most efficient units versus these Manchu, which obviously the Russian cavalry combat ability, combat card affects both Manchu and veteran cavalry archers. But one thing to mention here is, if I can just click on berries here, it's quite hard to do so. These berries, they're not particularly fast gathering, but they're also running out of food really quite fast. And on the flip side of that, Hazza and Somppu even having rice paddies set up, and obviously if Russia doesn't need wood, they can just make Strelets. But after these Manchu go down and these cavalry archers, I don't know what he's going to do here. He can just mass Gurkha at this point. And because he's sieging with them, he obviously knows those cavalry archers are those Manchu have been shipped. I mean, I don't know what Somppu's doing here. He's just losing these units for no reason really to speak of. But yeah, I mean, Somppu definitely in a commanding position here, and it's his game to throw. So yeah, he finally takes that second coin mine, and this coin mine over here is just going to run out. And as I was saying about these berries are just 72 on that one. Only 8 villagers, or I think it's 8 villagers can gather on berries at each villager on each berry bush. But these berries are just going to go down instantly. And this other one here, again, is only 11. I mean, these villagers are going to be idled here. And what does he do for food? He has to make a big push out of this, but this wall here from Somppu not gonna stop anything he can do with the pressuring his economy. And Somppu just needs to wait 5 or 10 minutes, and he's just won, in my mind. They are both stuck in the fortress age. I mean, if Hazza can get to the next stage and get factories out, he should be fine. But he needs to pressure, and he can't pressure. But yeah, these Manchu obviously are incredibly strong units, but he doesn't have the economy. I mean, the economy is split equally, and Hazza forced just to collect. Where is he collecting food from though? Oh, Where is Hazza collecting food from? I'm a bit confused. Obviously he has some on bows. Where is he? Has he got a mill up? There's the last hunt just running out there on the top here. And obviously these villagers next to the seaport, there's nothing near them, they're gonna get slaughtered. My voice just went, I'm awfully sorry, but obviously these two Oprichniks are gonna have quite a fun time against the villagers of Somppu themselves. He just misses them by a hair, but the gardeners need to go over to the left. He might lose a couple of villagers here, but just look at the units lost in this game. 34 to Hazza, 36 to Hazza even, and 54 now to 50, even more than 54. We might even lose a couple more. Let's look at the villagers' HP here. Only one in front having basically no HP left. But Hazza obviously still behind on eco, and one thing which is sort of I failed to mention here is these TCs that Somppu's had all this time working have been against two TCs have been against one TC for Hazza. Obviously this TC working is 1.5 times, but Hazza on mills now, and he hasn't been on mills enough to get the infrastructure working to get enough of them. Somppu doesn't have any upgrades in his deck, and Hazza himself having food silos, which actually might come in quite nice here. Economic theory being a better card to send first, obviously. But both players in a situation where it's just a war of attrition. And in the end of the day, I mean, Russia being better at the war of attrition than India, but India can get the plantations up quicker. It can get... Oh, I didn't see refrigeration isn't in his deck, pardon me. So that's 20%. So this eco population difference may be becoming slightly better for Hazza as the game progresses. Although now that Somppu isn't actually harassed here, he should be fine just to sit in his own base and build. But again, he's just massing Sepoy against... Let's look at military units here. Sepoy against Manchu. Manchu obviously trade quite, well, not nicely against Sepoy, but they're not bad against Sepoy. And these veteran shredders with the counter infantry rifling, which is such a strong shipment, are just going to annoy the Sepoy to death. Somppu obviously going to push into Hazza's base, which he knows is here after he's scouted with that Gardener Huss. But I think in this situation, what he needs to do is he needs to switch the consulate, maybe to India, and to British, and get the Sepoy HP. But he's just playing way too timid. I mean, Hazza's going to end up being at a position where he has more units than Somppu, and more economic units than Somppu. He is just pondering around in the middle of a map here, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And at the same time, he's losing so many units to these Opry raids. And Hazza at the point where he maybe has enough wood here, and when his man comes up, his explorer comes up, he could probably get another town centre over the right here, and he gains access to that coin mine and this sort of small hunt here, which would be incredibly nice. And he sort of cordons off Hazza himself. Two Mahouts coming out at the perfect time, the opportune time when that Oprichnik dies, so he doesn't actually see it coming out. But oh, here's the big fight. I was missing that, I'm awfully sorry. But these Strelets dying quite easily to the Mahouts here, which are the only defense against Sepoys that he has. And at the same time, these Mahouts just being annoying. 9 Zambuks coming out. Sort of useless shipment at this point, because Zambuks, being colonial Zambuks, aren't particularly strong against these Manchu and anything. He's not making Cossacks to speak of. But these two Mahouts at the back doing so much damage to this mill and these units on this mill. He does get 2 cavalry archers out, but he's being pressured. He has to take this fight. These Mahouts at the back, as I was saying, which were on this mill, I mean, it's being mistasked here, but he's just going to lose so many units, and the military unit in favour, his Zampuk's obviously useless against the villagers, but still snaring, and he's losing so many. He's going to lose all these villagers on this mill, and this is just GG. We might see the flip side. This match has been so sort of flip-flop, and these villagers going down. Villager population is so what am I saying, is so in favour of Somppu at the moment that these Strelets, even though he can't get away with the Strelet, that's the point. This Zambuk needs to snare, he's trying to snare the Strelets here, but Russia's showing its fortitude in sort of a late game, and these Strelets being so cheap. Units in queue, let's have a look. It's probably a batch of Strelets, there you go. He doesn't have the Mahouts or the, I don't know actually. He doesn't have a Mahouts in queue. Does he have any Mahouts? He only has Sepoy in queue. Obviously, Somppu quite known just for Z moving with Sepoy. But if he can get these Manchu and the Cavalry Archers out, he's not going to be able to get any out. Obviously, these Cavalry Archers are slightly more food favoured, which is better in a war of attrition. But there's no way he can get onto his coin mine over here without getting harassed by these Mahouts that he has in queue. And the Mahouts are going to take out the blockhouses, and obviously Mahouts having incredible siege, 120 siege each hit, so roughly about 5 or 6 musketeers on that blockhouse at the moment. And he's just going to pressure these blockhouses, which he knows Hazza has to stay on, because his mill is 400 resources, which Hazza can't actually contest here. And just look at the difference in eco population. Again, refrigeration and eco theory on those villagers for Hazza, but just a massive difference, and the eco population difference isn't even that big. And then there's 2 Mahouts in queue. He just needs to wait. If he waits it and he just pushes back, he'd be in a completely stellar position, and I don't think it's throwable, if I'm honest. So yeah, more units going down from the optics, or however I say it. I don't even know how to say it. But yeah, 4 Mahouts, and probably another one going to come out, another 2 come out. And these Opries obviously are harassing, but these 2 town centres, it's so hard to push into at all. And there's only how many Manchu here? Only 5 Manchu, and 4 cavalry archers. And there's 4. No, there's not 4. There's 2 more Mahouts in queue. So Somppu's just going to mass some Mahouts, and he's just going to Z move on them. And I don't know what Hazza can do here. Look at the decks. There's nothing really either of them can send here. I mean, Daravan martial arts increasing the attack of these sepoys. So these sepoys in hand combat are incredibly strong, 21 damage. It's basically like a sour at this point. And again, look, there's units in queue here. There is cavalry archers, but these blockhouses is going to go down. These blockhouses not having villagers in them, but he's going to lose that mill, which he ill afford really. And these Mahouts, how many does he have now? Let's have a look. He has 7 Mahouts, and these represent so much siege. These buildings are going to go down instantly. Although a small road coming off here, and a castle. I don't know what a castle is for. But let's have a look at units in queue. Yeah, and thankfully Hazza getting out some cavalry archers, but Somppu maybe making a mistake all this time just making sepoys. If he had Gurkha, they'd contest the they wouldn't do so badly against the Strelets. Obviously Strelets being incredibly strong units at the moment because of the counter infantry rifling. And the house is going on their own ceasefire coming out. I completely forgot he had ceasefire, if I'm honest. And if he can get a good catch, it's GG. Not even going to take the fight. Yeah, so overall, there you go. Somppu coming back from a bit of a loss streak to go through to Hazza. So a fairly even series. I think some of the matches weren't so even, but both players playing very well.